Hey you guys, so today I am going to be showing you how to make some mouth-watering, moist, flavorful Salisbury steaks smothered with mushroom and onions. Let's get into it. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. I know it may look like a lot, but trust me, you need all of this for it to be great. We're going to start off seasoning our meat. So I'm going to go ahead and add some pepper, and you can add as much pepper as you like, or, take away some if it's too much for you. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in some Tonys. Then we're going to go ahead and add in some breadcrumbs. Now, the breadcrumbs is what helps your Salisbury steak stick together. Then we're going to go ahead and add in some complete seasoning. Then we're going to add a few drips of Worcester sauce. You don't want to do too much because it can be overpowering. Then we're going to add in some garlic, which is some granulated garlic. Then we're going to add in some onion powder. Then we're going to crack 1 egg into it. And the last thing I'm going to go ahead and add in here is some milk. And the milk is what's going to help keep your Salisbury steaks soft and moist. So after that, you want to take your clean hands and then you want to go ahead and mix everything together. Now, an important thing to know about this is you do not want to over mix your meat. Okay? As you can see, I'm kind of like turning and flipping the meat into each other rather than just digging in and mixing it all around with my hands. I'm just kind of like flipping it and just making sure I am incorporating the seasonings all over. But once you do this and it looks something like this, you can go ahead and stop. It's good. You don't want to over mix it. Okay. All right, so after you have mixed your seasonings and your meat, what I went ahead and did was section off my ground beef into how many patties I'm going to make. So with a pound of ground beef, you can make, it all really actually depends on the size you want your Salisbury steaks. I like mine to be not super small, but not super, super big either. So I'm going to make 5 Salisbury steaks out of a pound of ground beef. You can make more or less depending on your size. Then you're just going to take the separated meat and start forming your patties. So I'm molding this into the shape that I want my Salisbury steaks to be in. And I normally do like an oval type of shape with my Salisbury steaks. Something like this. Okay. So you're going to just go through each of them and mold them into the shape that, you prefer. Some people make them circle like hamburger patties. I do mine oval. You can do it however you like. Just mold it into the shape. So next we're going to go ahead and get it into the hot oil. I already have my oil hot. And we're just going to go ahead and place each of the Salisbury steaks in the pan. Now, the important thing to note here is that we are not actually cooking the Salisbury steaks. We are searing them. So we actually want to brown them on each side. Okay, so after you get your Salisbury steaks in there, we want to brown them for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Now, once again, don't be like me, y'all. I stuffed all my Salisbury steaks in one pan. It still turned out good, but if you can, do it in 2 batches because you want to give your meat room to breathe, okay? Because they can start sticking together. We don't want that. But anyway, so just brown them on each side. And after about 2 to 3 minutes, this is how they look. Okay. So as you can see, that patty is brown. And you're going to want all of them to look like that when you flip it. So let me show you this one. give you a better look at how it looks. And it does look very similar to a hamburger patty, but like I said, this is not cooked. So just because it's seared, you could take a look when you plate it, you still see some of that blood juice in there because it is not cooked. Do not taste your food, guys. Next, we have to work on the gravy. This is what's going to finish off our Salisbury steaks. So I have 2.5 cups of water and a spoonful of better than bouillon beef. We're going to go ahead and mix that in the jar. I decided to get my whisk because the spoon was not working. So I'm whisking it around. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is add in some of Worcester sauce in there. Just a couple drips because like I said, Worcester sauce can be very overpowering and you don't want your meal to just taste like that. Then you're going to mix that around. So then we're going to take the pan we had our Salisbury steaks in and we're going to add in our onions. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add that in, saute that for about a minute or two. Then we're going to go ahead and add in our mushrooms. We like a lot of mushrooms over here, so we're going to saute those for about 2 minutes as well. Just mix that all around. Then after you've sauteed those down, we're going to go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of butter. Now, this butter is what's about to get this gravy really going, okay? We're going to melt that butter all around. After it melts, we want to go ahead and add in 2 spoons of flour. Now, if you like your gravy to be thicker, I would add maybe 1 more spoon of flour. I don't like mine super thick, so I just did 2 spoons of flour. So after you add the flour in, we want to take our whisk and just whisk everything around. At this point, we want to cook the flour down so that your gravy does not have a flour taste. If you don't cook your flour down, your gravy is going to have a flour taste. So this is a very important key point to making gravy. Cook that flour down, y'all. So after you have cooked your flour down for about 5 to 6 minutes, we're going to go ahead and add in our broth mix that we made with the better than bouillon and Worcester sauce mix. Now you're just going to go ahead and add that in. Don't worry about it looking super liquidy. As it boils and cooks, it's definitely going to thicken up. So for right now, we're just adding this in. And then after we add all this in, we want to go ahead and start to add in the seasonings to the gravy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add in some onion powder. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in some granulated garlic. Then you can add in pepper to taste. And lastly, I'm going to add in some complete seasoning. Now, these were the only seasonings I used, and this gravy came out great. So you're going to whisk all of that together, and then we want to bring it to a boil. Now, as you can see, the gravy has thickened as it boiled. And then what we want to go ahead and do is add in our Salisbury steaks to that gravy. This is going to finish off the cooking process for your Salisbury steaks. You'll put them all in there, and then we're going to let them boil in that gravy for about 25 minutes. Then we want to lower it to a medium-low heat and let them simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. And after that, you will have some tasty, mouth-watering, moist Salisbury steaks. You guys, these Salisbury steaks were so delicious. My husband and my son were raving about it. It was so moist. Look at that. When I cut into it, it just falls apart, and you can look and see inside that it is moist. It is juicy, and I mean, it was so flavorful. You guys, I really hope you try out this recipe, and I hope you're subscribed to my channel. And I want to thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you tune into my next one.